Alright guys, so it's project day today. I'm actually doing something I've never done before. I'm going to replace the anode rod in our electric water heater. This is something that supposedly I've read you're supposed to do every year, every couple of years. We've been in this house for going on 11 years now and I've never done it, so I have no idea what the rod's going to look like. This is a magnesium anode rod. You can get magnesium or aluminum. And essentially, the idea is that the corrosiveness of the water, especially the hard water like we have, I guess, here in Iowa, will attack the anode rod and break this down before it starts to break down the components of your water heater or the rest of your plumbing system through the house. So it's basically a sacrificial rod, and I'm thinking that when I pull this old one out, that it's going to look much different than this new one. So we'll go about getting this thing taken off. First thing I did, this thing actually came with a label stuck all over it, and it seemed like the wrong idea to stick a paper label inside my water heater, so it took me forever, but I finally got the label scraped off. That was the first hard task. So what we're going to do, so I don't forget right now, I'm going to go ahead and get some Teflon tape around this new rod, which we're going to thread in here in a little bit. Make sure we have a good seal. And I'll probably just put 3 or 4 wraps around this threaded end. Okay, to access this, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, I'm going to lift you up here. To access the anode rod, sorry for the moving around, I want to get you in a good position here. So to access the rod, on the top of the water heater, now this is an electric water heater, electric or gas, I think it's probably about the same way. Some water heaters I think have 2 rods, this one has 1. And basically from the factory they've got these plastic plugs in here, I already pried this out. And there was, if you can kind of see in here, this was all full of foam insulation, so I already dug that out and got access to the top of the rod there, the nut. And these are my socket. It's an 1 1/16" socket. From what I understand, these are all 1 1/16", pretty universal. But a couple things we need to do before we go to work on this. I'm going to kill power to my water heater, which for my case is just a disconnect. So now we have no power to the water heater. The other thing that I'm going to do, if I can help you see this. So we got the power turned off. I'm also going to take some pressure off the water heater. So most water heaters probably are going to have a valve on the bottom. This is actually just a leftover chunk of hose. This is actually a hose for a wash machine, just a short little 4-foot hose. So I already put that on there. I've got a floor drain over here, and I'm just going to take a little bit of water out of this thing just to make sure it's not pressurized when we go taking that old rod out. And actually, what I should have done is I actually should have turned off my cold line coming in. Otherwise all that does is backfill when I let pressure off. So let me do that again. Take pressure off the tank. Alright. So we got power off, we got water drained down just a couple inches. Now we're going to see if we can get this rod out. I've never done one of these, so this is going to be a little bit of an experiment for me too. Now, The common way to do this is, again, inch and 16th socket. And I've got a breaker bar here. I've already put a little bit of torque on this thing, and it's tight. It's really tight. So, of course, it's been in here for 10 years, so it's possible I may not get it out, but I'm going to cheat. The way that you would normally want to do this if you don't have an impact wrench is you'd want to get an extension bar on here, have somebody hold on to the water heater as tight as they can, and then try to kind of torque this thing loose. But I'm going to use an impact to break it loose. I'm here by myself because I don't want to fight it. And gotta be smarter than the socket, which for some reason this one doesn't want to go on. Alright, impact wrench. Got my air tank down here. Alright, now, sure we got our reverse. Should be able to back this thing out of here. Didn't take enough pressure off. Did not take enough pressure off. Whoops. So that was a fail. And that was because we actually have water running through our... I got a geothermal heat pump, and we have a de-superheater that actually circulates water through the water heater. So we had pressure coming not just to this cold line, but back to that de-superheater line too. So, oh well. So that was a little bit of a fail, but not the end of the world. Like I told you, I've never done this myself, so here we go. I did get a little visual of that. Water everywhere. I may need to get pliers to grab onto that. Actually, I've got one here. So that there is exactly why you want to make sure you got the power turned off, because shooting water all over with, in my case, an electric water heater isn't generally a good idea. How hot this thing's going to be. So there you go. That thing is, I don't know how well you can see this on camera, hopefully you can. I don't know if you can see that in this kind of dark, but this thing is, it's not as broken down as I thought it would be, but it is full of corrosion and hard water deposits and crud, so it's fun thinking that's what's inside of our water heater. But we'll get this taken out and replaced with a fresh one. Now that I see how nasty that is, I'm wishing I would have done this a long time ago. Okay, so the old one's out. The new one goes in. Even though I took that off with the impact, I'm not going to put it on with the impact. I'm just going to take my little breaker bar so I can snug it up good, but I don't want to have it overly tight and break anything. go. So we got it on, we got it tight. Basically it's done. All I need to do now is go back, get my water turned back on, get my power turned back on. Since I'm in a mess, I'm going to bring some towels in here and get everything dried off and take care of the mess that I made. But basically, surprisingly, that was actually pretty easy. It would have been, that thing came out tough even with the impact wrench, so that would have really taken a pretty good long couple foot pipe, but it could be done. You know, it'd be good to have two people to do that. But in any case, you saw how cruddy that old rod looks. So I'm really glad that see if I can show you over here with a little better light. Every time I take apart anything plumbing wise, it always kind of grosses me out because there's always a lot of crap inside pretty much all plumbing lines from my experience after a number of years, which you can see what that thing looks like. So I'm glad to get that out of our water heater. And it's definitely, diameter wise, I think if I would scrape this layer of crud off of here, I'm pretty sure that thing is probably 50% of its original width. So anyway, a little bit of a screw up, but that's how things go sometimes. So hopefully that was helpful. If anybody's thinking about taking this on themselves, not that bad of a project. Took me about 10 minutes here. So good luck with your own project. All right, thanks, bye.